there is a new billionaire in town. Trump's the name. Donald Trump is a major deal maker, a swashbuckler. Donald, you're in your late 30s. You got 40 years to live, minimum.
Well, I hope you're right about that.
What are you going to do?
There are a lot of things to do. You know, a fertile imagination and a good fertile mind, Mike, it's really amazing what can be thought of. There are so many things to do.
Politics?
So many. No, not politics.
You've said that you could do a better job at negotiating an arms control agreement with the Soviets than some of these professionals who've been trying to do it for years.
I didn't say me, Mike. I said somebody has to do it. If it were me, that'd be fine. I could do it. Somebody has to help this country, and if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble. Because within a short period of time, as sure as we're sitting here, there's not going to be a country and there's not going to be a world.
给大家整理了一下川普年轻的时候接受采访的几个视频。
Forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
大家可以看到，川普远远不像媒体描绘的那样，永远是个疯子。年轻的时候是一个很有风度的富豪。
Do you think in the 1980s that anyone can grow up to become a millionaire? Is that a reality?
Well, I think nowadays, Rona, I think it's more and more of a reality. With the lack of incentives that are being given to so many people, many more people have a tendency maybe to give up. And I think the people that don't, I think they're actually finding the ways or maybe the paths are a little bit smoother than they were 5 and 10 and 15 years ago. It's a sad commentary, but nevertheless, it's possibly easier now than it was 10 years ago.
You think it is easier to become a millionaire?
I really do. I think many people have lost incentives. I think that, you know, with what's happening with even the country as a whole, it's a sad situation, and people sort of become a little depressed, and their own depression and the country's depression leads to that lack of incentive. And becoming wealthy or becoming successful or becoming whatever the word is when you say becoming anything, I think it largely has to do with incentive and drive and enthusiasm.
You're 34 years old. Your assets are considered to be over $1 billion. Where did you get the incentive? I mean, 34, it's so young, Donald.
Well, I don't look at, really in my case, necessarily incentive. I enjoy what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I look at it as being somewhat creative. We've done developments that people said could not be done, and maybe because of the timing, maybe it was inflation, maybe whatever the end result has turned out to be tremendous with the various hotels, etc. I think I just basically I thrive on what I do. I enjoy what I do. I like what I do, and it's not that I'm looking for anything. I just enjoy it. When I get up in the morning, I'm excited about the day.
Is work your love?
It really is. I enjoy so much my work, and I think that's probably the key to anybody's success.
Is there anything you can't have?
Well, I believe if you think that you can't have it, you probably won't have it. You have to go into everything with a positive attitude. You know, they say that, I was telling somebody a little bit before, they say that the human mind is only using 1% of its potential, and that if the human mind could use 3%, you could do literally anything. You could cure the major diseases. You could do anything. Just one mind in this world, if it could get up to 3% of its maximum potential. So let's say you don't get up to 3%, but if you can get a little bit more out of it than the 1%, I think you're going to be able to do pretty much whatever you want to do if you have the basic ingredients going in.
But in terms of specifics, I totally agree about positive thinking. But you, is there anything you can't have materialistically or emotionally? Is there something that your money cannot buy?
Well, it's a very nice question, Ron. I'm not sure that there's an answer to it. I mean, I'm quite happy with everything. I'm quite happy with the way everything's worked out for me at this point. Now, if this point hasn't been very far, in 10 years, if we sit down at the same situation, maybe I'll tell you, Rona, you know, I've made mistakes here and mistakes there, which today I don't think are mistakes. But at this moment, I would say, by the way, money is not the ingredient. Money has nothing to do with the ingredient. It's just whether I was an artist.